Hello and welcome to the July 2026 Wodonga Ordinary Council meeting. My name is Councillor Hall, Deputy Mayor, and I'm chairing the meeting tonight while our Mayor, Councillor Mockgarden, is on leave. First, I will do the welcome and acknowledgement of country. Wodonga Council acknowledges Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first peoples of the country. We also acknowledge them as traditional owners and custodians across various lands. We pay our respect to ancestors, elders, children and young people. We acknowledge the strength and resilience of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and recognise their continuous connection to lands, waters and community across the country. Number two, apologies and leave of absence and attendance by electronic means. As I mentioned, our Mayor, Councillor Michael Goble, is on leave. We have Director Sarah Ryan, who needs an apology, and our staff member, Simone Hogg, will fill in for her tonight at the council meeting. We also have an apology from our Director, Danny Mongieri. Good governance pledge will be said by Councillor Knight. Thank you.
Wodonga councillors have committed to 1, undertake the duties of the office of the councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. 2, abide by the model councillor code of conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the model councillor code of conduct. 3, faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in the office of the councillor under the Local Government Act 2020 and any other act to the best of their skill and judgment.
Thank you, Councillor Knight. Number 4, we have a declaration of conflict of interest. Do we have anyone that has a conflict of interest? Okay. 5 and 4. 5 is confirmation of minutes from the previous meeting. Do I have someone who will move the minutes? Councillor Knight. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Quetty. I'll take that to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We move on to item 6, which is question time, and we do have some questions tonight.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a number of questions tonight. First question is a question about Wodonga Golf Course from Mr. Michael Fraser. The full question will be published on the council website along with council's response. But in summary, the question asks whether council will take a formal position on the proposed rezoning of the Wodonga Golf Course under the state government's Unlocking Strategic Sites program, given the potential for long-term impacts on the city's structure, lifestyle, welfare and community wellbeing. It also asks if council will take a position when residents will be told and how that position will be determined. And if council will not take a position, why not? Council's response is, thank you for your question regarding the matter that is attracting significant community interest. Council understands the matter remains with the Department of Transport and Planning's pre-application process under the Unlocking Strategic Sites program. Council has not received a formal proposal for consideration and the department has not yet completed its detailed planning assessment. The department has previously advised the accepted into the program does not constitute approval. Rather, it means the site has entered into an assessment pathway. As noted in the question, this is a matter that requires careful consideration by councillors. While the planning process is still underway, it is important that council does not take or appear to take a predetermined position on the merits of any proposal that may come before it in the future. If council has a formal role later in the process, any position or decision would need to be informed by the information available at the time and made in accordance with council's legislative obligations. The second question only recently received tonight is from Mr. Alan Bellington, and the summary of the question is that the question states that the water from council's fire track, Wren's land, is not being properly channeled, causing extra water to flow through the property and form a new watercourse. Mr Billington states that earlier council works were inadequate, particularly the amount of rock used, and we are asking council to redesign, clean up the property and reinforce the drainage area. There are other related impacts, including fence damage and logistic cattle entering the property. Council officers will address this as an operational matter directly with Mr Billington, and councillors will receive a copy of the response. Again, that will be published on our website. And we have two questions which will be disallowed under the governance rules. So council has received two questions, both which have been disallowed by the chair. This ruling by the chair is under 64.9 of the meeting procedure rules, which is part of council's governance rules. The matter has been referred to myself as the Chief Executive Officer for a response. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so item 7 is petitions, which we have none. And okay, we're heading to the delegates report, item 8. Report from the National General Assembly, Canberra. Like the report for councillor Knight.
Yeah, so there's,
Okay, I just have to have a mover and a seconder.
I'll move the report.
That's the motion. I'll hear councillor Knight.
I had the privilege of attending the 2026 National General Assembly of the local government in Canberra alongside Mayor Michael Goble and CEO Matt Hyde. The Assembly brought together more than 1,100 local government representatives from across Australia and provided valuable opportunities to learn, share ideas and advocate for issues important to Wodonga. The Assembly theme, Stronger Together, Resilient, Productive, United, reflected the importance of the collaboration between all levels of government to address the challenges facing local communities. A key takeaway for me was that many of the issues facing Wodonga are being experienced by councils across Australia. Discussions focused on financial sustainability, housing supply, workforce shortages, infrastructure investment, regional health services, emergency management and economic development. One of the strongest themes throughout the Assembly was the need for sustainable funding for local government. Councils are increasingly being asked to deliver more services and maintain growing infrastructure networks while managing rising costs. The Regional Forum highlighted challenges particularly relevant to Wodonga, including housing growth, local roads, regional productivity, healthcare access and workforce attraction. It was valuable to hear how other regional councils are responding to these issues and to consider lessons that may assist our own community. I also attended sessions focused on leadership, community engagement, workforce development and disability inclusion. Jason Clark's Listen and Action workshop was particularly insightful, providing practical approaches to turning community feedback into meaningful action. An important part of the visit was participating in advocacy meetings during Parliamentary Sitting Week. Alongside Mayor Goble and CEO Matt Hyde, we discussed the Wodonga Regional Evacuation and Relief Centre upgrade, improved NBN connectivity at Logic, support for the Bonagilla migrant experience and national heritage priorities, and broader regional development opportunities. I would like to acknowledge and thank Minister Christy McBain, Helen Haynes MP and the representatives of Minister Murray Watt and Minister Don Farrell for their time and willingness to engage with us on issues important to Wodonga and our region. Overall, my attendance at NGA reinforced the importance of strong advocacy, collaboration and long-term planning. The experience provided valuable insights that will assist me in continuing to represent the interests of the Wodonga community and contribute to Council's future decision-making. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Knight. Councillor Cotty, would you like to make a comment? I didn't say so much. Oh, sorry. Sorry. No. Okay. Well, I'd just like to add that for those that want to have a further read on what was discussed and what happened during those couple of days, it is listed in the report here. I thank councillor Knight for his detailed summary, and I put that to be received by council to a vote. All those in favour of receipt? Carried unanimously. Item 9, reports for determination. So the first one is 9.1, the Maison long-term lease. Yes, this has been out to the community for feedback. It's around a new 21-year lease for the leases at the Maison, and it's got the 54,964 for the lease with that's the current lease, and it will be subjected to CPI. I believe that there was it 5 submissions received, and they were all in support of the lease going forward. Do I have someone to put that forward?
As recommended, Madam Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Aldridge. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Knight. Councillor Aldridge, I'd like to speak to it.
Thank you. La Maison has been part of our community for almost 2 decades. It's a place where people celebrate milestones, meet for coffee, host functions and welcome visitors to our city. It's become a destination in its own right and an important part of the Gateway Village precinct. When the original proposal to purchase the site wasn't possible because of planning and floodway constraints, I think it was sensible that we explored an alternative that provided certainty for the business. This proposed 21-year lease gives the tenant the confidence to continue investing in the premises. I'd also like to acknowledge the community feedback we received during the public exhibition process. While there were only 5 submissions, every one of them was supportive of the proposal. The submissions consistently describe La Maison as a much-loved local business, an iconic venue, a draw card for visitors and an employer of local people. They also recognise the business's generosity in supporting charities and community organisations and the positive contribution it makes to the local economy. Approving this lease also supports the ongoing activation of Gateway Village. Having successful, established businesses operating in the precinct makes it a more attractive place to visit and encourages further investment and activity in the area. For these reasons, I'm very happy to support the recommendation tonight.
Thank you. Councillor Knight.
Yeah, La Maison is one of those places you love to go, and it's, as Councillor Aldridge said, it's an employer of locals. I think this locks in long-term certainty for the thank you for the proprietors, and it also means so that they can plan, and it allows us to sort of build around that as well as a council, or the council to build around it, not just us. So yeah, I'll be supporting this.
Okay, do I have any other councillors?
Thank you, Acting Mayor. This, to me, I don't accept the fact that we couldn't do the subdivision. I think we should have investigated that in more detail and looked to free this up so that the owners of La Maison had an opportunity at the very least to consider purchasing. We know that they expressed an interest in that. I recognise that at the moment it's a source of revenue for the council. Not a huge source, but it's a source of revenue. But it's also a series of buildings that are aged and continue to age and continue to run headlong towards what was likely to be some fairly significant cost to council at some point in the not too distant future. And I think we should be trying to look for every avenue to free this building up to be sold off into the private sector. And obviously my preference would be to see La Maison continue and to see La Maison probably buy the land as they express their interest in doing. Having said all those things, I think our second best position at the moment, given that we haven't gone the full extent of exploring the sale, is to have a longer lease to give them a greater level of security of tenure. So from that context, I support the motion tonight, but I don't think this should be the end of the process. I think we should be looking to and exploring the opportunities to actually sell this land on, and if the prospect is that the Maison are to buy their relevant bit or all of it or any portions thereof, then that I think that should be encouraged, and we should be trying to facilitate it. So whilst I support the motion tonight, I think this shouldn't be the end of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to me.
Do I have any other councillors that would like to come to consent? No worries. Councillor.
Nothing further to add.
No, okay, we'll put that to the vote. Those in favour of the recommendation. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, on 9.2 live streaming, recording and publishing of meetings policy. Our director will provide some commentary around that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Council live streams its council and delegated committee meetings, and to inform that practice has a live streaming, recording and publishing of meeting policy. It does only relate to council and delegated committee meetings. The policy was adopted in August 2022 and is up for renewal. Council officers have reviewed the policy and are recommending minor changes to ensure the policy continues to align with current legislation, meeting practices, and provides clarity and transparency for the public. The paper before you includes the revised policy prepared by officers and the recommendation that it be adopted directly by council this evening without being placed on public exhibition. The rationale for that is that the changes to the policy are incredibly minor and that no adverse feedback has been previously received over the term of the existing policy with respect to the practices relating to live streaming and recording of council meetings.
Thank you. Do I have someone to move a motion? The recommendation?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Carroll. Yes. Do I have someone to second that? Councillor Courtney. Councillor Carroll.
Oh, thank you. I support the recommendation. I think that live streaming and publishing our meetings is an important part of transparent and accountable decision making. It allows our community to stay in touch with what we're doing and sit in their comfortable living room instead of coming out into the cold, dark night tonight. This is a proposal to make minor changes, and I'm pleased to support the updated policy.
Councillor Courtney.
Oh,
Do I have any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? Councillor Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Whilst I accept that this in tonight is relatively small change, this policies of this nature are intrinsically bureaucratic and don't really hold a lot of flexibility for fleet of foot adjustments and things along the way. You have to basically run to the rules on everything, and there are certain times and things and different things based on the merit of the circumstance that we should be trying to develop more flexibility into the way we do stuff rather than impose policy through or bureaucratic process through this form of policy. I accept that we need policy, but these sort of things just seem so rigid. Nonetheless, I'll still support this tonight, but I think going forward in all of the policies and things that we seem to be adding myriads of them, we need to be thinking less bureaucratic and more based on merit. Thank you, Madam.
Do I have anyone else to speak? Am I allowed to speak before?
Speak before the reserve.
Yeah. I just would like to add that there's very, very minor changes to this policy. I remember when we first adopted live streaming, we were one of the first councils to adopt live streaming. And back then there were so many concerns around the legality and problems that could arise. But it has worked, that now it's part of the Local Government Act basically, and it was a great asset to councils during the COVID. So it has gone a long way since then, and I think it's whilst there could be some tweaks and minor issues around it, I think generally it's a good modern day thing to be able to, if you can't come to a council meeting especially during the winter time, you can access it, and it gives people that have got disabilities or real reasons why they can't come into our council meeting physically the opportunity to see it live. So I will be supporting the motion put forward. That's the question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be supporting, obviously, I seconded and will be supporting the having this policy. I also was going to mention that the policy was to live stream the meetings was a little bit revolutionary when it came around. That was before my time and during Councillor Mildred's and Councillor Hall's first terms, I believe. And it was a great thing to actually have that policy in place at the time. At the moment, acknowledging Councillor Mildred's words, a lot of what we have in the policy has been replaced by the government, by the Local Government Act. However, while I'm not in favor of bureaucracy, usually I support having this policy. It tightens up the language around us live streaming some meetings or not others, or live streaming all the meetings and recording. This policy makes it very clear that what we're live streaming, recording and publishing are the public meetings and the delegated committee meetings, of which we just have one at the moment, Finance and Budget Delegated Committee. It also makes it clear that, well, it doesn't mention briefings or any other meetings, but by not mentioning them, it makes it clear that this is the extent to which we are live streaming and recording and publishing. We do return to the possibility and the utility of recording and live streaming some other work kind of meetings or briefings that council has, but at the moment this is what our policy is, and I'm happy to support it.
Okay, with that, I will take it to the vote. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to sum up to say that the proposed changes are quite minor, they're sensible, and I do want to reflect on Councillor Mildred's concerns that, as is normal with most policies, we can review this policy at any time. And if there are changes that are minor, the CEO has our authority as well, and it's written into this policy. So I hope that that gives comfort to the councillors that should changes be needed, we have got that ability to do so.
Thank you, Councillor Cohen. I'll take that decision to a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay. Item 9.3, new CCTV at the miniature railroad, Hume Model Engineers. Our CEO will provide some background to the motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item seeks Council's approval for the installation of CCTV cameras at the Wodonga Creek Miniature Railway, operated by the Hume Model Engineers. The report follows a vandalism incident earlier this year that caused significant damage to the railway infrastructure. In response, the Hume Model Engineers have secured funding to install a CCTV system to improve security, deter future acts of vandalism and assist law enforcement where required. All installation and operational costs will be met by the user group. A privacy impact assessment has been completed and the proposed system will operate in accordance with Council's CCTV policy, including appropriate signage, public notification and controls. The recommendation before Council is to approve the installation subject to the conditions outlined in the report. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, CEO. Do I have someone that will move the recommendation. Councillor Aldridge,
Yes, thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor, as recommended.
as recommended. Okay, and Councillor Knight.
Oh, councillor Cowan.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
Yeah, Councillor Cowan, you second the recommendation.
Thank you. Like many in our community, I was so sad and disappointed seeing the damage caused to the Wodonga Creek Miniature Railway earlier this year. It wasn't just damage to the track, it was damage to a much loved community attraction built and maintained by dedicated volunteers. I think what affected me the most was the impact on those volunteers who give so much of their own time simply to bring joy to local families. Thankfully, they rolled up their sleeves, repaired the damage, and have the railway back up and running. It's fantastic to see it back, better than ever. If installing CCTV helps deter future vandalism and assists police if something does happen again, then I think it's a sensible step. It's being funded by the Hume model engineers themselves, with appropriate privacy safeguards in place through Council's CCTV policy, restricted access to footage, and the required training. This is about protecting an important community asset and supporting the volunteers who make it possible. And I'm very happy to support the recommendation. And I hope the miniature railway continues to bring smiles to families for many years to come.
Thank you. Well said. Councillor Cowan.
Thank you. Yes, I'm happy to support the recommendation as well. And I just want to assure the community that full privacy assessment has been undertaken, and that includes restricting access around the area, public signage, staff training and appropriate safeguards. So while this installation may have been controversial in the past, we have a CCTV policy. We followed the policy strictly, and it comes at no cost to council. Thank you. Thank you.
Do I have anyone on the council who would like to speak to the motion? Councillor Coulter.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything because Councillor Aldridge and Councillor Cowan have covered everything, but I just want my voice also to be heard in firstly expressing how much acts of vandalism, any act of vandalism, but especially such as this saddens me. It is a much loved community asset. So many families with young children, including my own children when they were a bit younger, enjoy a miniature railway, and adults and parents and just people who like visiting miniature railway just as well. And I would like to acknowledge and thank the volunteers for their resilience in the face of such a sad and disappointing occurrence, and express hope that CCTV camera deters any future acts of vandalism and is of help. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Aldridge, would you like to?
Nothing further to add.
Okay, we will take that to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation? Another unanimous decision. Thank you. Okay, so now we're on to 9.4, appointment of authorised officers. CEO will provide some background to this report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item seeks the appointment of several planning staff as authorised officers under the Planning and Environment Act. The report outlines authorised officer appointments are necessary to enable planning staff to undertake statutory functions under the Planning and Environment Act. While many of the proposed appointments update existing authorisations, 3 officers are being appointed for the first time. The Chief Executive Officer is able to appoint authorised officers under other acts and regulations. However, appointments under the Planning and Environment Act must be approved by Council and cannot be delegated. The appointments will ensure the nominated officers are able to exercise the powers required to carry out their statutory responsibilities and support the effective administration and enforcement of the Act. The recommendation before Council is to appoint the nominated officers and authorise the execution of the associated instrument of appointment and authorisation.
Thank you, CEO. Do I have a councillor who wants to put a motion on? As recommended?
As recommended, please.
Councillor Knight. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Coulter. Councillor Knight.
Pretty straightforward for me. It's something that we require under the Act. We can't do without it. Our departments, I think, sometimes struggle with not having enough people authorised to do certain things. And I believe that this is a tick and flick.
Thank you, councillor Coulter.
Yes.
Nothing further?
No.
Do I have any other councillor that would like to speak to the recommendation motion? No? All right, I'll take that to the vote. All those in favour of the motion? Okay, that's another unanimous.
I think it's Councillor Gable.
Yeah.
Councillor Gable's not here. We're all
Item 10, reports for noting, which we did have nil. Item 11, reports for information. Item 11.1, record of councillor meetings. I'd just like to add that on page 32 of this agenda, that where it states myself, Libby Hall Deputy Mayor, apology, it was Lee. So in future, hopefully it will be noted that it's a leave and not an apology. Apology is something that hasn't been approved of. Well, would you like to explain what an apology and leave is?
So leave of absence is an apology for a council meeting, but it has a provision under the Act where councillors are permitted, whereas if you don't have a leave of absence and you miss a number of meetings, your councillor term can be proposed to end.
Yes, okay, and that would be the same for councillor Aldridge. She was leave as well, and not an apology. So I just wanted to clarify that because, because of the difference in how it's recorded, in our council. Well, it would go into our council's report at the end of the year, and I think it's important that that gets clarified. So, okay, so we've got item 11.2, the decision register. Is there anyone that has any questions or comments around that? And item 12, notice of motion, to which we have one. And item 13 is general business, and I know Councillor Umbridge is dying to give us a report on her escapades on the weekend.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I'd just like to update the council on a matter of significant regional importance. Last night was the debate that divides the border, and I'm delighted to report that Team Wodonga emerged victorious. I'd like to thank my fellow teammates, Dr. Lockie McKinnon and Graham Jenkin from Business Wodonga, the organisers, the judges, and everyone who came along. It really was a fantastic night. As for Team Albury, they were really excellent. They were well prepared, they were articulate, they were entertaining, but they just weren't the winners. So it was a great evening of friendly rivalry supporting the Albury Wodonga of Stedford Schools debating competition. But the result is now official, and I think it's only appropriate that this trophy makes a home in the Wodonga Council chambers.
This is the trophy.
Would you like to hold that up?
Victorious, pass it around.
Very light's not soft gold.
Yes. Albury couldn't afford it.
Albury couldn't afford, yes.
Okay, thank you for that. It's very appreciated. Do I have any other general business that councillors would like to bring up? No? Okay, so that's pretty easy. Item 14, which is urgent business, to which we have none. Item 15, confidential business, to which we don't have any this month. 16th, confidential urgent business, to which we have nil. And 17 is the close of the meeting. So thank you for the attendance in the gallery and to everyone online. I'll close the meeting at 6:34, which is the quickest I think we've had almost. So, thank you.
Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Yes.